Hi, folks. This is a one-shot take to walk y'all through some content related to frequently asked questions that I get as an OER librarian at the community college level. These are one-shot take, informational to walk you through the slides. Feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to just share the slides if you'd rather not listen to me walking through them with some context. So this one is choosing the right OER deliverable for you. This is going to walk you through some of your different options. This is a very common question that we get asked. So, how do you know which is the right OER deliverable for you? This is a very common question, and often it's tied to stipend models, and it's tied to completely different disciplines. And so the reality is there's no one size fits all. There is no single answer where I can say, oh, make a textbook. Every single subject is different. So really, it's about thinking about what serves your course, your discipline, and your students. A lot of this is actually checking your own ego, checking what you think you know about commercial textbooks with basically a needs assessment where you're asking what structure, pacing, and depth does the course require? What formats, access needs, and learning barriers do your students face? Right now, a lot of students, if they are using a publisher textbook, they are renting a digital version. It's only in a digital version. Often they have to download it only in one device, which means they also can't read it on their cell phones. And so it's actually very limiting. You have to think about materials, what already exists out there in the GE subjects, especially for community colleges. There's a lot of content that already exists that you can adapt from. And also, what is your capacity? This is a big one. A lot of folks think they want to author from scratch, but realistically, do you have time to build and maintain one? Or is it better to use one that's already existing? And no one can answer this question except for you. So the very first thing that I will ask all faculty to do is to check yourself. This is a very gentle but very important question, which is, do you truly need to author something? Is this about a legacy? Is this about your own ego? Or are you really looking at, hey, I want to make something targeted for my students? One of the greatest things that we have about OER is the ability to adapt and remix. So you can make targeted content. So you're not putting in everything in the kitchen sink because that's what publishers have to do. So our textbooks are thousands and thousands of pages, often because they have to throw in everything in the kitchen sink to appeal to a very wide audience. OER, you don't have to do that. You can make targeted content. So is your goal to make targeted content for your students, or is your goal a legacy? Is it you want to author because you think everybody else is inferior to you? Really think about what is your motivation. And the reality is there's no shame in any of it. If you want to make a legacy, great, but just know and have that honest answer for yourself. Second, we get this all the time where folks say, nothing exists in my topic. I have to use a paid publisher textbook because nothing exists. And the reality is, if you teach a general education class in STEM or the humanities, the content already exists, I can guarantee you. Whether it perfectly aligns with your course outline of record or your pedagogical or andragogical frameworks is another question, but the content probably exists somewhere. The reason that you don't know about it is there is no central repository. There are so many OER repositories out there. OpenStax is often seen as a really generic, beautiful base for a lot of the GE classes, but it often requires supplemental work. OER Commons, Merlot, LibreText is huge now. There's a lot of big ones that you can look at. An OER librarian can absolutely send you a curated list. The ASCCC OERI also has discipline-specific lists for y'all. So try searching differently, using the repository terms as a key term in your search will really help you. So for instance, if you're looking for a spectrometry in biotechnology, if you put that plus LibreText into a Google search, you're going to get something more specific than if you just Google open or free spectrometry OER content. So the easiest way to do this is to talk to a librarian. We're here to help you with that. Please do a needs assessment because also we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's been invented multiple times. We're asking, what do your students actually need? Okay. And how do we get it in UDL in multiple formats and modalities for all students? What is missing right now? Because even when people are using paid publisher content, often something is falling short. There's real gaps, or there's too much content that people are wading through. And so you get a lot of cognitive fatigue and cognitive overload. What creates the biggest barrier? Is it cost? Is it accessibility? Is there's not enough images? Is it that it's outdated content? Are the case studies not accurate? Are they not relatable for your students? Do your students need to see content that's relatable to where they live in their geographic location, in their economic locations? Do you need to make more targeted content that's relatable to them where they currently are? What would make it easier to teach it and learn it? Is it that you want to have it actually in multiple modalities? You want to do more of a flipped classroom. You want to let your students help you author. You want to really think about knowledge creation and moving away from pedagogical and towards andragogical and pedagogical mindsets. What does your class need? Then you're going to match the deliverable to that need. So every single college does this differently. At Irvine Valley College, we have a tiered stipend model that is connected to the deliverables. And the reason for that is some faculty might make something really quick, some might hem and haw over it for a really long time. And so it is based on the final deliverable, not on how many hours you spend on it. So the textbook is a great option. Now, this is usually considered a standalone textbook, meaning it can be printed and read in multiple modalities digitally. You have homework and homework systems. You have lecture slides. You also have video and audio, lab manuals, workbooks. There's so many different elements to this, anything that's considered instructional materials. Okay. For some subject areas, a textbook is not the answer. So a textbook is, in the way that we define it, is a standalone thing that basically is the flagship deliverable. And it works great if you have static content or you have a lot of static concepts that you're teaching that you want to be printed. And then you have case studies that you're linking out to or examples that you're linking out to. Or if you're in a subject area such as math that has pretty static content. But say you have a really rapidly evolving field. So this would be fields like UX, health sciences, where basically by the time the book is written, it's outdated. A textbook may not be the best fit for you. For you, having a single course that is linked out to current content that's updated by others in your field, that actually might be a better fit. So really think about flexibility beats comprehensiveness when fields change fast. So for some fields, such as the health sciences, modular content where you have Canvas pages that just link out could be more helpful. Then you have the hard STEM where you have a lot of repetition that's necessary in order to drill in certain practice. That might be best with an adapt homework system where you can get a lot of that repetition and practice. Sometimes it's actually just curated resources that are linked out to third parties. Sometimes that's actually the best model. There is no one size fits all. Build from what you already use is what I say. Think about if you ever saw the Indiana Jones where he switches out the bag of sand for the treasure. Often all you're doing is you're trying to figure out what your treasure is. What is it that you want to keep that you already like? And what is it that we can replace? Just pulling the commercial textbook out and then supplementing in can be the best fit for some folks. Sometimes it's adapt homework system, sometimes it's test banks. Other times there's lecture slides that have been given from the commercial textbooks that have to be replaced in class activities. It really varies. So there's a lot of options. The main one, standalone textbook. This means that it can be printed. It's separate. People often will say, well, Rachel, isn't my Canvas course a textbook? No. Your Canvas course is locked up in proprietary LMS software. It can be printed per page in rich text format, but it is not a standalone textbook. You can't print and bind it easily. That is not a standalone textbook. That is a Canvas course shell or modular content. Then you have adapt homework systems. This is the state LibreText system. It's awesome. It can do auto grading the same as the commercial content. Maybe you also just need ancillaries. Maybe you need lecture slides, test banks, lab manuals and assignments. Those are the main ones. So consider funding and licensing together. So what will your institution fund? So our institution, we do have a tiered stipend model. You can reach out to the OER committee to talk about that. You can also talk to your department about that. Then what are you willing to license? Because again, almost everything in the OER world means you are giving up your intellectual property for a global pedagogical community that is going to share this cross pollination of pedagogical ideas, right? That's part of what OER is. So what are you willing to share? Use every bit of institutional support available to you. You are not alone. Okay. Librarians, we are here for you. Instructional designers, instructional technologists. There's accessibility support, and there are disciplined peers to support you in this work. You do not have to build alone. The ASCCC OERI also has discipline leads that are specific to your area that have built curated resources and teach with OER currently across the state, and they can also make appointments with you. Implementation choices. Please plan before you build at least a little bit. If you are a seasoned teacher, there are teachers that like to build while they teach, staying a couple of modules ahead of their students. If you are not a seasoned teacher, I do not recommend that. If you are a seasoned teacher and you are pretty good at being agile on your feet, that is something that many seasoned teachers do. But really think about having a pretty good framework in your head, a table of contents, how you want to teach it. Often it's concepts and theories and practical application. What case studies are you going to reference? Things like that. If you're a seasoned teacher, you already have this in your brain. The final decision rule. Does it solve a real student problem? Does it fit your information cycle? And information cycle is how quickly does your field of information turn over, right? Math has pretty slow turnover, whereas health science, super fast turnover. History, pretty static. So think about what can be maintained, what is worth the labor, and what fits your information cycle. Okay. Build what is useful and then adapt whenever possible, author when necessary. So always, 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 we recommend not authoring from scratch unless nothing exists. Those are going to be subject areas usually like CTE right now. It's middle of 2026. We're still struggling with OER related to things like biotech and steel and automotive. Those are really hard to find. But if you're teaching a GE class, there's a lot of content that already exists for you. Build what's useful, adapt when possible, author only when necessary. It's going to take a lot of curating, regardless. If you want to make a targeted one, IVC OER committee, we recommend one textbook per course per department. For each course, having at least one textbook that someone who is a respected person within your department is building that aligns with the course outline of record for that class that then can be given to everybody in the department. That's what we recommend. And just know you are the expert, you have the expertise, and you have a lot of support. And as always, OER is the ultimate way to exercise your academic freedom as a subject expert, and we're here to support you. So thank you so much for listening.